Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Today we're going to talk about how Jesse Hagopian normalizes liberal Zionism. Because I've seen people hyping up Jesse Hagopian, particularly people in the Puget Sound region, right? The Puget Sound region encompasses Bremerton, Seattle, Tacoma, Kent, Tukwila, Federal Way, Burien, Shoreline, even up to Linwood. Right? That's the Puget Sound region. Right? And here's the big problem with Jesse Hagopian. Jesse Hagopian's involved with a Zionist organization called the Zin Education Project. Now, who is Howard Zinn? Howard Zinn, this guy, this Hungarian Zionist. I mean, that's what Howard Zinn, who founded the Zin Education Project, was. You know, Zinn was a Zionist. You know? Oh, look at this. He was a Siberian Zionist. Rabinowitz, any relationship to Max Rabinowitz, who used to live in the same neighborhood as me when I lived in South Anchorage? This is some things you got to ask, right? And look, he took part in the U.S. military, so you know that's a big red flag. And even though it was during the 40s, which was World War II, it's the U.S. military, right? It's still a criminal organization. And you have to understand, Howard Zinn was a Zionist. Howard Zinn was a liberal Zionist. Okay? And that's the big problem with Jesse Hagopian, is that not only is he writing for Haymarket Books, which platforms Zionists, such as Ilan Pappé, Avi Shlaim, and Miko Peled, and Noam Chomsky. By the way, Chomsky is an associate of Epstein. Hagopian is also an associate of Howard Zinn, right? And so, in Zinn's own words, Zinn tried to appeal to the legacies of Zionists, like Albert Einstein and Martin Buber, right? And even though Buber and Einstein were critical of the Zionist entity, they did support settler colonialism in Palestine, right? And so Zinn, the liberal Zionist, supported a secular state that would entrench settler colonialism, where Arabs and Jews lived together as equals. That's what Zinn promoted. Zinn was a liberal Zionist, okay? Zinn was a liberal Zionist. So the fact that Hagopian works for the Zin Education Project indicates to us that Hagopian is a liberal Zionist. Howard Zinn was a liberal Zionist. Howard Zinn supported settler colonialism in Palestine. Howard Zinn supported genocide in Palestine. Because Howard Zinn supported a framework that would entrench settler colonialism in Palestine, right? Now, the liberals will look to Hagopian's background and try to absolve him, right? The liberals will look to Hagopian's background to try to absolve Hagopian of his Zionist normalization. Just like they do with MLK, just like they do with Albert Einstein, just like they do with other Armenians like Kevork Almassian, who's involved with all kinds of right-wing German crypto-fascist politics. And this is why I'm the perfect person to call out somebody like Jesse Hagopian. Not just because I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. I grew up in South Anchorage, Alaska, Cordova, Alaska, and Seldovia, Alaska. But check out my background, right? I have Palestinian ancestry. I have Lebanese ancestry. I have Yemeni and Saudi ancestry. And yes, I have Iraqi and Armenian ancestry, as well as obviously Georgian, small percentages of Georgian and Mexican ancestry. And on top of that, my maternal grandma was part African American of Namibian origin, right? So, which is why my haplogroup is L, specifically L0D1B1, right? So I'm kind of the correct candidate, if you will, to call out Jesse Hagopian for being a literal Zionist, a Zionist normalizer, and selling out to Howard Zinn, selling out to Indies Times, selling out to Haymarket. I mean, Hagopian's entire career has been a sellout. And it doesn't matter that he founded the ethnic studies course at Garfield. Had I grown up in Seattle, I probably would have gone to Garfield because my paternal grandma lived in Denny Blaine and my dad almost went to Garfield, right? But Hagopian will sell you out at every single opportunity. I mean, Hagopian was even platforming the No King's Day protest, which was funded by Jewish Voice for Peace, which is a Zionist organization, and Bend the Ark. And he wants more liberals in the streets. Now, you know me. I am anti-liberal, right? I am super anti-liberal. I come from more of an Islamic socialist background. My maternal grandpa, Rahimullah is what you say when somebody's no longer with us, for those that are non-Muslims out there. My maternal grandpa, Rahimullah, was Palestinian, Yemeni, Saudi, and Lebanese, right? I have a zero tolerance policy for liberals. I believe, much similar to Dr. Shadi al-Masri from the Safina Society podcast, although he's Maliki and my background, my education is mostly Hanafi, but my family is from a diverse background with Hanafi, Hanbali, and Shafi on my maternal grandpa's side. So I believe, similar to Dr. Shadi al-Masri, that the Democrats are the party of sodomites and the Republicans are the party of crusaders. Hagopian wants more liberals in the streets. And he wants to challenge liberalism. I want to challenge liberalism, but I will not platform liberals, right? I will not platform liberals on any platform that I'm a part of. And even if you're a socialist, there's got to be a vetting process. Who are you platforming? If you're platforming Howard Zinn, if you're writing articles for In These Times, by the way, which is edited by AIPAC stooge David Sirota, and which platforms Checkpoint Inc. associate and JVP stooge Rebecca Vilkomerson, what does that say about you? If you're doing the typical MLK liberal kuffar shtick, if your ideology is not based in the Quran and the Sunnah, what does that say about you? What does that say about you, Jesse Hagopian? If you're going to events that are being sponsored by JVP, that is a form of normalization. Even if it's the No King's Day protest, that's still being sponsored by JVP. That is still a form of normalization. Again, at the very core of his entire ideology, Jesse Hagopian has long been an opportunist and a grifter. He's like a male Anna Kasparian mixed with Jamaro Thomas, to put it quite crudely. So his ties to the Zin Education Project, by the way, which is Zionist, and Howard Zinn was a liberal Zionist who advocated for settler colonialism and who opposed decolonization, right? And the fact that Hagopian is published by Haymarket Books, which is a Zionist publishing house, which platforms Epstein associate Noam Chomsky, Zionist settlers like Tikva Honig Parnas and Ilan Pape. What does that say about Hagopian? It shows us that Hagopian has no values. He's an opportunist and he will sell you out. And this is a common pattern that I see with the Armenian community. Again, I'm 20.63% Mesopotamian, which is mostly a mix of Iraqi and Armenian, right? Check it out. Mesopotamia. So I do have a wee bit of ancestry from Armenia, as well as a lot of ancestry from Iraq. And that counts to 20.63. So again, I'm seeing patterns here, man. I'm seeing patterns of Armenians that don't recognize the fact that Armenia is normalizing the Zionist entity. The fact that Jesse Hagopian, who happens to be Armenian, actually has a quite similar background to me, right? I'm more on the West Asian side of things. I'm guessing he's 50-50 split African American and Armenian, right? I'm way more on the West Asian side of things, but we do have a slightly similar background, right? I can see being Armenian does not absolve Jesse Hagopian of responsibility for his Zionist normalization, particularly with the Zin Education Project. Again, we all know Howard Zinn was a Zionist. It does not absolve him from being published by Zionist Haymarket Books. It does not absolve him from all the liberal shenanigans he's participated in, it does not absolve him from going to a protest that is funded by Ben the Ark and JVP, aka the No Kings protest, right? It does not absolve Jesse Hagopian. It in fact makes him more guilty, more responsible, given his background. And Jesse Hagopian, instead of recognizing what he's done is wrong, he's kind of doubled down, right? He's kind of doubled down. And this is why you need a no-nonsense leader. You can't have some liberal loosey-goosey crap. Your leader needs to be the type of guy that's going to play center back on the soccer field or middle linebacker on the football field. Not some guy that's going to play quarterback or wide receiver. You need somebody no nonsense. And that's clearly not Jesse Hagopian. Right? Again, I'm 49% West Asian. I also do have some sub-Saharan African ancestry via my maternal grandma, right? So I have a fairly similar background to Jesse Hagopian. The only difference is I grew up in Alaska, he grew up in Washington, right? So, and also the other difference is my Asian side's not exclusively Armenian. Yes, I'm descended from Molfia de Melitene, who married into La Casa de Aragon via Balduino, right? But I'm also a direct descendant of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm also a direct descendant of Hashem al-Bulatia, Musa ibn Nusair, Ayyab al-Bulatia, Lope ibn Musa, Aurea de Pamplona, right? So I have that legacy not only from the Crusades. By the way, the Hagopians were big sellouts during the Crusades. Let me tell you this. The Hagopians, much like Morfia de Melitene, sold out to the French during the Crusades. I'm guessing the Hagopians, when the Chinese and the Mongolians were pillaging Asia back in the day, they sold out to them, because the Armenians sold out, right? They sold out to the Chinese and the Mongolians back in the day, and they pillaged Baghdad. I'm guessing the Hagopians sold out then too, right? I'm guessing the Hagopians sold out to the Chinese and the Mongolians. And now you have the Armenians selling out to the Zionist entity, right? Again, I have a pretty similar background on my mom's side to Jesse Hagopian. On my mom's side, I have ancestry from Lebanon, Palestine, Yemen, Saudi, Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, Armenia, Iraq, Georgia, Mexico, France, and Spain. That's all my mom's side. I also have some sub-Saharan African ancestry from Namibia, right? My dad's almost entirely Welsh and English, right? So I have a pretty similar background to Jesse Hagopian, but you don't see me hiding behind Armenian flag, Armenian heritage, and selling out to Howard Zinn, selling out to Haymarket Books, selling out to the ruling class. You don't see me selling out to In These Times. I would never let them publish none of my work because they're edited by Zionists, right? Again, Hagopian's a sellout. The guy sold out to the mainstream media. The guy sold out to Zionist Howard Zinn. The guy sold out to Zionist Haymarket Books. The guy's a sellout. The guy hypes up the King's Day, the No Kings protest, right? He went to a literal protest where people were carrying American flags. And he knows how that land. He even said he knows how that land for many on the left. Right? American flags represent genocide. Why? America's a settler colony. America was built on stolen Salish, Pequot, Athabascan, and Inupiaq and Sugpiaq land, right? What are you doing, Jesse? Going to a JVP and Bend the Arc funded protest where people are actively carrying American flags, especially given your background, Jesse Hagopian. I mean, this is clown behavior at its finest. And Jesse Hagopian is a sellout. So there you go.